Welcome back once again. Now in this video I'll show you the fruits that are growing around here. I'm walking along behind the garden patch right now. I gotta be careful because the grass is growing up long and etc, etc. So I'll turn the camera. Don't have any flowers on this guy yet. This is the pineberry plant, but it's putting out several runners. I'm going to get some little planters to root them in so I can plant them exactly where I want them. Now, it looks like I have one Dill's Atlantic Giant started. There's a female flower out here and a male flower right here. So I could probably get to hand pollinate those. This one, like I say, it looks to be starting to enlarge, so it would have been pollinated by insects. Cherries are getting ripe. There's quite a few cherries on that tree. These should flower and fruit in the fall. They're the type of raspberry that grows up a cane. It produces fruit in the fall and then fruit in the spring on little side shoots. So that's the initial one. It'll produce fruit like up here in these little brackets and that. But then in the next year, next spring, you see this is an older cane and it sends out a little short side shoot and then puts berries out on the end. These are the golden raspberries, very delicious. So what happens is you'll get a flush in August, it'll slow down, and then you'll get another big flush about end of September. Let's go around and see what the plums look like. Okay, so there's not many plums, but I knew that anyway. That's just a low year for plums. But if I can get to zoom in on it, he's still green. But here he is. There's one there. And there's one just over from him, I noticed. So yeah, it's a low year for plums. So there's a plum here and there throughout the tree. I have a lot of red raspberries to pick. The patch is covered in them. And the canes are growing exceptionally well this year. These are new canes. So the berries that I just showed you are not from these canes. These will produce as well in September. I'll walk down this side because the other side the pathway is quite full of them. It's hard to get through. I never tasted one of these yet, but I'd say they taste the same as last year. Delicious. See, the red raspberries are a lot more tart than the golden ones. And then, of course, blackberries, they're even less tart again. That's the apple tree. I think there is the occasional apple on that somewhere. Well, as ugly as this here it still looks. There's something in here that makes me happy. And that's right there. This is the baby pan pumpkin. So this one has been pollinated by insects. There's another female flower there and some males here. So I'll probably get some more pollinated before very long. And as I've said in earlier videos, if they're not done by the time frost comes, I'll cover this old plant to make sure I can get some ripe baby pan pumpkins. They being heirloom, I can save the seeds. There's an open female flower on the other plant, but there's no open male flower that I can pollinate it with. This was one of the ones in the initial herb garden that I didn't want to lose. A.S. Stilby or some name like that? Let me know in the comments section if you got the right spelling for this flower here. I'll zoom in on the actual flower head, and there's the plant. One of the benefits of having stinging nettles around is that there is I think it's a butterfly, it might be a moth, but that stinging nettles seems to be the only plant that they like, and they just cover them. And then of course when they turn into butterfly or moth, you got these little nice looking flying insects going around. Well, look who decided to grow. It's a cucumber plant. There's an eggplant, the plant, but of all the eggplant plants I have, it doesn't seem like any of the flowers are getting pollinated. Now here's an unexpected thing. As you know, this is the cabbage that I overwintered in this cold frame. And so it has sent up its long flower shoots, and most of them now have been pollinated, and it's growing seed. But I've got a cabbage head here. It's a little soft, but if my memory serves me correctly, cabbage starts out with a softer head and then it gets harder as it matures. And in here, there's another head of cabbage. I did not expect that. There's a third one forming there. So in the second year of cabbage, it seems like you can get a head as well as seed. That's interesting. This cucumber plant in here, it's starting to flower. So I may get something off of that. Beautiful plant this is. But no eggplants growing, no fruit growing on them yet. I'll get my shadow out of the way here. See, two really nice plants. Oh, there is a fruit. Aha! One eggplant. Before I left, I did mention how the onion sets were growing better down in this area of the garden. We're standing by the snowball bush now, which has leaved out. Once again, looks like it's just struggling to come back to life. And put my hand down beside this one so you can see. I'm going to have a nice size, and there's several here this size. That one over there I think is even bigger. So I'm going to have several good onions this year from the onion sets. Now, this is the best growing cucumber vine. It's starting to get flower buds, one right there, another one right there. The couple of beans I put here doesn't seem to be doing that well. But it looks like I just might get some cucumbers this year after all. And over here, this one's already flowered. So we're on a roll. By the front fence, I'll start on the inside here in the corner. This is the most fertile area where I put down the most compost and mulch. This nasturtium has flowered and already fading. You can see I have lots of peas. These are the regular green peas. I have an onion that's gone to seed. But the nasturtiums are flowering. I'll wait for that car to go. The sunflowers are growing really nicely, and that makes me very happy. Here's one that's open. That I am pretty sure is a black oil sunflower. I'm not so sure about the flowers on these, and maybe it's just where they're growing, but anyway, I'll collect seeds if they grow to seed and try again next year, maybe in a different place. I think I'm going to have aster flowers. That's an aster here, and as you can see, that was obviously a bud. 1, 2, 3 of them. The marigolds, there's still many to be open yet, and some of them are open along here. I'll just stand right here and zoom over. So there's 3 down that end. The marigold's growing, and I just noticed, yeah, here's another aster flower. See this? So that makes me happy. As you walk along the outside of the second section of fence, we have marigolds. See if you'll let me get a close-up of them. Roses. Here, one zinnia. Something ate all the other zinnia plants that I planted, and this one survived. So I'll have one little zinnia flower. I don't know if they produce multiple flowers. Thinking of collecting the seed from this one. That's the butterfly flower. And maybe deliberately planting them out here come spring. There's another sunflower. It's one of the supposedly bigger sunflowers, but as you can see, it hasn't grown height of the fence. Now that's the one that had the large bud on it before I left. One, here's my biggest sunflower. And I'm thinking I want to tie him in against the fence so that he don't get damaged if he gets much bigger. Does he have a bud on him? No, it looks like he's starting to get a bud on top, so he might not grow any taller now. As I back up, I've got quite the pile of greenery along that fence now. And as promised, I was going to show you these flowers. Daisy-like flowers. As far as I can tell, that's one of those aster plants similar to what I got out by the fence. So daisies were my favorite flower, and they pretty much look like a daisy. I've got a patch on that side of the stairs. Then we go over to the other side, and there's these. Now this being the least fertile of the 3 fence areas, you can see that peas really don't need a whole lot of fertility. These are the sugar snap peas. And there's an awful lot of them there for me to harvest now. Little aster plants. They're still growing though, so they will survive. And as I put compost and stuff around them. So the asters, they'll come again next year. They're perennial to this zone. That California poppy, I wonder if I should insulate it and see if I can get it to survive. Now even over here, it looks like I'm going to probably get an aster flower off of this plant. And that one. On the inside of the last fence section, you can see the sunflowers, they're not doing very well here just because of the fertility of the soil and also the onions. There's loads of peas to be picked. Down here on the end though, they start to get a little better, and I have the one sunflower open there. The new strawberry plants, no more flowers come out on them, so I'll have to wait till next year. But they're doing okay. And that's the end, I guess, for the fruit bushes. No, it's not the end for the fruit bushes. I'll show you the currants. But the end for this video, because it'll be a little longer. In the next video, I'm going to go through the trees. I'm going to start down here by Romeo Cherry. And I'll go through the trees and bushes. I'll show you the currants as well. So see you in the next video, which will be coming out very shortly. Thank you for watching.